Alright, so today we're going to review The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Overall, I'd give this a 5 out of 5, well, because I got it for free. I didn't pirate it, my friends had a copy of the game that I wasn't using. Anyway, let's get into it. So, my initial thoughts on the game, like right when I started, was the combat's pretty neat. You can definitely tell it was made for Wii Remote. Like, the mine carts, the, like, everything. You can tell the game was made for Wii Remote. And it certainly champions in making the features of the Wii Remote useful. And by that, I mean the motion controls. So, where it fails, my only problem with it is the puzzles. Some of them were stupid, and some of them were not very good. They were hard to figure out, and there were some times when I had to look up the puzzles, and I knew that this is not something I could possibly have figured out on my own. So, for example, in the dungeon right before, in the dungeon, like, where you get the final sacred flame, the one on, what's it called, Elden Mountain, the final sacred flame, in that dungeon, for the last frog, where you try to get into it, you have to get the basin of water from the water dragon. And there's nothing that implies that you have to get that basin of water from the water dragon. I guess, like, yeah, you just got, you also got, like, the water dragon sacred flame before, and she's not in that basin anymore, but there's nothing that implies that you go back there for that basin for the water. Also, and that was definitely, like, one of the stupider puzzles, but there are some others too. Some of these stupid puzzles I ended up figuring it on my own, but that's only, like, after I looked up some earlier puzzles and I discovered that they were stupid. So, there's some stupid puzzles in many other Zelda games as well. I know this, everyone knows this, even Breath of the Wild has some really retarded puzzles. However, I feel like this game has the most tedious puzzles out of any of them. The most tedious tasks out of any of the games. Like, you have to collect all 3 sacred flames, then you have to collect all the notes in the Faron Woods while swimming underwater, and they're not easy to find all the time. It takes a long time. I spent an hour finding less than one half of the required notes to get the piece of the song from the water dragon. Also, the harp is very annoying to use. Like, the harp, I had a lot of trouble with. A lot of the time, when I'm playing music, it restarts, I get aggravated, and I rage. And this Zelda game seems like the one where I've raged the most while playing through it. There's also, and not only was there, like, the notes thing when you're fighting the giant fish that flies in the storm cloud, you have to do a spin dash through the eyes. The only problem is that it's really tedious to get even close to the eyes You have to dive, you have to do a lot of maneuvers, and it took me, like, a lot of time to get close to those eyes. And Skyward Sword is a wonderful game. Truly a wonderful game. And I'm enjoying it a lot for what I've played, which is, I think, most of the games. But it's long. It's a really long game, especially for the main quests. So, one of my first problems that I encountered was it takes a long time, a really long time, to introduce the basics of the game. Now, in the original Skyward Sword, you couldn't skip dialogue. The most you could do is hold down A to go through the dialogue more quickly. In Skyward Sword HD, I think you can skip dialogue, but I don't have Skyward Sword HD. I have the original one. It was very tedious, wading through tons of dialogue, a lot of which at the beginning was unimportant dialogue. And that unimportant dialogue was very annoying. I did not enjoy sitting through it. The cutscenes were really good. The story was really good. A lot of this game, I have a lot of positive things to say about it. And especially since I got it for free. But I'm gonna say this. Skyward Sword has a lot of flaws. And with these flaws, it makes the game a little less enjoyable. The imprisoned battles, most of them, like the first two were pretty easy. I didn't have trouble with the first two. The third battle with the imprisoned, which was with Groose, as well as the second one, which was also with Groose. The third battle with the imprisoned was probably the most tedious thing I've ever done. And it's because you gotta charge up your sword. You gotta charge up a Skyward Strike to do any damage to the toes unless Groose is ready. So unless Groose has his bomb prepped, you gotta charge up your Skyward Strike, and it's really annoying. And a lot of the times, the imprisoned can also knock you around with its tail, and because it can knock you around with its tail, I died many times due to the tail. It's also really annoying when it stomps you and you take damage. Now, it was certainly, I didn't have that bad of a time battling any of the imprisoned, but it was frustrating, especially on the second part where the imprisoned flies and Groose can't get to his bomb stash. And the problem with this part is that it is so annoying to shoot onto the spike, and most of the time, I didn't get it. There was one time where I got it, and that was the time where I won. It was really tedious. Also, forgot to mention, Girahim. Girahim is very powerful, very fun boss fight. But one attack that's really annoying is when she holds up her hand to try and grab your sword and then deals damage to you once she does it. This is the second Girahim battle. The first one, it was hard to grasp the grabbing your sword concept and where she was holding it. Second one, I pretty much had it down. And overall, I enjoyed the Girahim fights, but they were pretty annoying. The puzzles, like I said before, they're, well, not always puzzles, just like tasks that you had to do were really long, really tedious. And so far, I've spent longer doing the main quests in this game than I did on Breath of the Wild. And yeah, it was made to be long. I get it. And it's not bad that it's long. It's not bad that it's long. But a lot of the tasks are really annoying, really tedious, and decrease my overall enjoyment of the rest of the game. Especially battling that fish. I haven't played through all of the game. I intend to play through all of the game. But I know I'm going to expect that this is going to be tedious. And I know it's certainly going to be tedious. And especially like the races with your what's it called? Bird. I'm just gonna call it bird wing. Or giant fucking bird. Especially the races with your giant bird were really tedious. I also dislike rolling the bomb plants. That was really especially in like the Elden Mountain to break stuff. It was annoying. But separate from like that, I enjoyed the game. I'm still enjoying the game. And even if I didn't get it for free, I'd say I'd give it a 5 out of 5 because the boss battles are really great. The boss battles are fun. They certainly put a lot of effort into the game, and it just looks wonderful. The game looks great. The game is great. It's a wonderful play. And no matter if it's the HD version or the original version, it's a wonderful game. And don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way. I know I didn't really say much. I tried to get specific as to the gripes, but I have pretty terrible memory of some stuff, including my playthrough. All I remember was like what I liked and what I disliked about it. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah. Anyway, see you later.